Hey everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I was really inspired to make a coastal themed card, probably because I just spent a week with the mister down on the Oregon coast and it was awesome. And I also loved the Pin Sites challenge on the classroom blog, and the colors. It's just so, I just love those patriotic colors and the combination of the coastal nautical type theme. So that's what I'm going for. And I'm using the polka dot stamp set. This is probably one of my most favorite stamp sets because I love circles, all kinds of circles, wonky circles, perfect circles, circle outlines, solid circles, tiny circles, because you can do so many different things with circles. So I'm going to ink up with the Versamark stamp set and stamp onto a quarter sheet of watercolor paper, which I already prepared with the powder tool. You could also use the anti-static pouch. And this is just to make sure that the embossing powder, which is white, is going to stick to just the image that I've stamped. And it's a little bit hard to see when you're doing this because I used Versamark ink and it's a watermark ink, so it doesn't show up on the paper very well, but I just kind of eyeballed it and tilted the paper in the light until I was sure I was getting things stamped where I wanted them to be. And then I'm going to heat emboss that with Hero Art's white embossing powder. I really love their white embossing powder. It's a nice, bright, clean finish white. And then I'm going to take the distress stains. I'm having the most fun with these distress stains. I can't get enough of them. And I love using them for just watercoloring different washes and things like that directly onto my paper. And just, they're so much fun. I absolutely adore these things. And I applied the Salty Ocean color inside my stamped rings there, and then I took a water brush and just kind of smeared it around, played around with it a little bit more. And then I wanted to try something I've never done before, and that's just to take some salt from the kitchen, and I ground it up in my salt shaker there and then sprinkled it on top, and I'm going to let it dry completely, and then I'll brush it away. And in the meantime, while that's set aside and drying, I'm going to take this crab and die cut it from a scrap of watercolor paper that I've put onto 4 thicknesses of clean, unused dryer sheet. It's unscented, and by layering 4 thicknesses, I just took 1 sheet and folded it into half and then in half again, so I got 4 thicknesses. It's going to hold my die in place there, and then I can take more of these awesome distress stains that I love so much and swipe them over the top and paint my crab and then set it aside to dry. It's going to hold everything in place, so it gave me something to hang on to and nothing got torn or ripped up while I was doing that process because the distress stains are kind of wet. So now I've scraped off the salt, or rubbed off all the dry salt from my watercolor piece where I did my polka dots, and I love the texture that the dried salt created. So I just brushed it off with my hands, and then I came back and stamped more of the little teeny tiny dots with Cobalt archival ink because I wanted to introduce kind of a darker color for more texture and interest here. And then I've got my base card that I'm going to add some red. I'm going to interject some red because that was very prevalent in the Pin Sites challenge inspiration piece. So I brought this washi tape that I've had forever and just need to use it up, and it's got these really nice red stripes that went well with my crab. So as you can see, my crab is dry and I was able to really easily pop him out. He kind of got away from me there. He kind of popped completely out. That's good. I didn't lose him. It hung on to him until I needed him. And then I'm going to take this really great stamp set by Altenew called Label Love. And I love my Dymo label maker. And this is a great set reminiscent of that label maker. Very vintage looking. I just love it. It's kind of retro and swank and hip. But I didn't get it completely inked very well. I wasn't paying enough attention. And so I ended up with a couple spots that needed to be touched up. So I used one of those brush sticks by Tsukineko Imagine Crafts to just load up with a little bit of ink and then touch up those spots. And that's a great tool for that. And I'm going to 3D mount my crab there and then flush mount the label. And it looks like a real Dymo label. You don't even know it's not the real thing until you reach out and touch it. And then just to give my crab some interest, I'm going to coat him with a nice thick glaze of the glossy accents. And I did have a few tiny air bubbles in there, but I didn't worry about it too much because they don't show up too badly. If I'd had some big ones, I probably would have come along with a pin and pricked those, but I just thought it looked just fine, so I left it and let it dry completely. And then I added some of these sparkling clear sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, which I thought were perfect for setting off the whole thing. All the supplies are available at ellenhutson.com. You can see more still shots and information there, like tips. And thanks for watching.